What if I told you that the single biggest difference between people who consistently achieve their goals and those who stay stuck isn't talent, luck, or even hard work? It's this. They have a better operating system. Not a computer OS, a life OS. A set of fundamental rules, what Ray Dalio calls principles, that turn chaos into clarity, emotion into strategy, and failure into fuel. Today, we're doing the most comprehensive breakdown ever created for YouTube on principles, life, and work. This isn't a surface-level summary. This is a masterclass in decision-making, personal evolution, and organizational excellence, built by the man who turned a $10,000 apartment investment into the world's largest hedge fund. If you've ever felt like you're making the same mistakes over and over, if you're tired of reacting to life instead of designing it, if you want a framework that actually scales with your ambitions, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete blueprint to build your own principle-driven life. And yes, we're going deep, so grab a notebook. This one's worth it. Who is Ray Dalio? The story behind the book. Ray Dalio didn't start as a guru. He started as a kid who bought his first stock at age 12. By 1975, he founded Bridgewater Associates from a 2-bedroom apartment in New York. But here's the turning point. In 1982, Dalio made a massive macroeconomic bet. He was certain a global depression was coming. He testified before Congress. He went all in. And he was completely wrong. The market didn't crash. It soared. Bridgewater collapsed. Dalio had to lay off his entire team, including his closest friends. He was financially ruined, professionally humiliated. Most people would have quit. Dalio did something radical. He wrote down why he failed. Not as an excuse, as data. He asked, what assumptions did I make? What signals did I ignore? What mental models failed me? From that pain, he built his first real principle. Don't confuse what you wish were true with what is really true. Over the next 40 years, Dalio refined hundreds of principles. He tested them in markets, in management, in relationships. When they worked, he kept them. When they failed, he evolved them. Principles, Life, and Work is the culmination of that journey, a manual for rational thinking in an irrational world. What exactly is a principle? Foundation module. Before we dive in, let's get crystal clear on terminology, because most people misuse the word principle. Values are what you consider important. Honesty, growth, family, freedom. Principles are the rules that translate those values into action. Actions are what you actually do. Results are what you get. Dalio's definition? Principles are fundamental truths that serve as the foundations for behavior that gets you what you want out of life. Think of principles like algorithms, if-then statements for life. If I feel defensive in a conversation, then I will pause and ask, what might I be missing? If a project is falling behind, then I will diagnose the root cause before assigning blame. If I'm making a big decision, then I will seek out the most believable people who disagree with me. The power isn't in having principles, it's in writing them down, testing them, and iterating them like software updates for your brain. Dalio's challenge to you? The best thing you can do to improve your thinking is to think through your principles for making decisions. Write them out in words and computer algorithms, backtest them if possible, then use them on a real-time basis to run in parallel with your brain's decision-making. The master equation, pain plus reflection equals progress. This is Dalio's single most important concept. Memorize it. Tattoo it on your brain. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Most people respond to pain in one of two ways. Avoidance. Numb it, distract from it, blame others for it. Reaction. Get angry, defensive, impulsive. Dalio proposes a third way. Use pain as a signal. When you feel frustration, embarrassment, failure, or confusion, that's not a stop sign. That's your reality telling you your current model of the world is incomplete. The reflection step is where the magic happens. Ask, what exactly caused this outcome? What assumptions was I operating under? What pattern is repeating here? If I face this situation again, what would I do differently? Then, critical step, write down the answer as a principle. Example, situation. I missed a deadline because I said yes to too many requests. Reflection. I value being helpful, but I didn't protect my focus time. Principle draft. Before accepting any new commitment, I will check my priority matrix and ask, does this align with my top 3 goals this quarter? Over time, these micro principles compound into a personal operating system that makes better decisions automatically.
Part 1. Life Principles. Deep Framework. Principle 1. Embrace reality and deal with it. Visual. Mountain climber adjusting route based on weather, not wishful thinking. Dalio's first life principle is deceptively simple, but psychologically brutal. Truth, an accurate understanding of reality, is the essential foundation for any good outcome. Reality doesn't care about your feelings, your ego, or your hopes. The faster you accept what's actually true, the faster you can work with reality instead of against it. 3 sub-principles to operationalize this. 1.1. Don't confuse wishes with facts. Wishing the market would go up won't make it happen. Wishing a difficult person would change won't make them change. Acknowledge reality first, strategy second. 1.2. Evolution is the single greatest force in the universe. Everything evolves. Markets, technologies, relationships, you. The question isn't, will I change? It's, will I evolve intentionally or be evolved by circumstance? 1.3. Evolve or die. This isn't dramatic. It's biological. Species that don't adapt go extinct. Careers that don't evolve become obsolete. Relationships that don't grow stagnate. Action prompt. This week, identify one area where you're resisting reality. Write down what I wish were true, what is actually true, one action I can take that aligns with reality. Principle 2. The 5-step process to get what you want. This is Dalio's engine for achievement. He treats goal attainment like an engineering problem. Each step must be done independently. Don't mix them. Step 1. Have clear goals. Prioritize. You can have anything you want, but not everything you want. Distinguish goals from desires. A goal is what you need to achieve. A desire is what you want that might distract you. Never rule out a goal because you think it's unattainable. Rule it out only after testing. Step 2. Identify and don't tolerate problems. View painful problems as improvements screaming at you. Don't mistake symptoms for root causes. I'm stressed is a symptom. I haven't defined my top 3 priorities might be the root. Step 3. Diagnose problems to get at root causes. Focus on what is before deciding what to do about it. Use the 5 whys technique. Keep asking why until you hit a fundamental cause. Distinguish capacity issues, I don't have time, from capability issues, I don't know how. Step 4. Design a plan. Think of your problem as a machine producing unwanted outcomes. Redesign the machine. Remember, there are usually many paths to a goal. You only need one that works. Write the plan down. Make it visible, make it measurable. Step 5. Push through to completion. Good work habits are underrated. Establish clear metrics. What gets measured gets managed.
Review weekly. Is the plan working? What needs adjustment? Real-world example. Goal. Launch a YouTube channel with 10K subscribers in 6 months. Problem: videos aren't getting views. Diagnosis: thumbnails are weak. Root cause: no A/B testing process. Plan: create 3 thumbnail variants per video. Test for 24 hours, scale the winner. Execute: track CTR weekly. Iterate thumbnails monthly. Principle 3. Be radically open-minded. Ego versus truth. Dalio identifies 2 barriers to good decision-making. The ego barrier, your desire to be right, to look good, to protect your self-image, and the blind spot barrier, the natural limits of your perception and experience. Radical open-mindedness is the antidote, but it's not passive tolerance, it's an active discipline. How to practice radical open-mindedness? Separate learning from agreeing. You can understand someone's logic without adopting it. Ask, "Help me see how you got there." Seek out believable disagreeers. Not trolls, not yes men, people with proven track records who see things differently. Ask probing questions, not defensive ones. Instead of, "Why are you wrong?" ask, "What evidence would change your mind?" Or, "What am I missing?" Use thoughtful disagreement. Frame debates as joint searches for truth, not competitions to win. Slow down your thinking. When you feel the urge to react, pause. Note the criteria you're using to decide. Write them down. Dalio's litmus test. You're looking for the best answer, not simply the best answer that you can come up with yourself. Action prompt. In your next important conversation, practice this script. State your view clearly. Ask, "What's the strongest argument against my position?" Listen without interrupting. Summarize their point to confirm understanding. Only then respond.
Principle 4. Understand people are wired differently. Principle 4. Understand people are wired differently. Dalio leans heavily on psychology and cognitive diversity. His insight: people aren't broken versions of you. They're different operating systems. Key dimensions of human wiring: big picture versus detail-oriented, creative versus systematic, fast thinking versus deliberate, relationship-focused versus task-focused, risk-tolerant versus risk-averse. Why this matters? Stop trying to change people. Instead, design roles, partnerships, and systems that play to natural strengths. Communicate in their language. A big picture person needs the why first. A detail person needs the how first. Build complementary teams. Diversity of thought isn't nice to have. It's essential for robust decision-making. Dalio's tool: the baseball card. At Bridgewater, each employee has a profile rating their strengths, weaknesses, and believability scores across domains. It's used for role alignment, not punishment. Dan Silvestri. Action prompt. Map your top 3 collaborators on 2 axes: big picture versus detail-oriented, fast action versus deliberate planning. Then ask, how can I adjust my communication to better connect with each?
Principle 5. Make decisions like an algorithm. Dalio's ultimate goal: systematize your decision-making so it's repeatable, testable, and improvable. The decision-making framework. Synthesize the situation. One of the most important decisions you make is who you ask questions of. Everything looks bigger up close. Zoom out. Will this matter in 5 years? Weigh second and third order consequences. First order consequence: eating cake feels good. Second order: energy crash, guilt. Third order: pattern of avoiding discomfort undermines discipline. Often the first order consequences are the temptations that cost us what we really want. Make decisions as expected value calculations. Think of each choice as a bet. Probability of success times reward minus probability of failure times cost.
Sometimes it's smart to take a long shot bet if the upside is massive and the downside is negligible. Prioritize by weighing information value versus decision cost. All of your must-dos must be done before you do any of your like-to-dos. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Sometimes good enough now beats perfect later. Convert principles into algorithms. Write your decision criteria so clearly that someone else or a computer could make the same call. Then test it. Iterate. Example algorithm. Decision.
Should I take this new job offer? Criteria. Does it align with my 3-year vision? Yes or no? Does the compensation meet my minimum threshold? Yes or no? Do I trust the manager based on 3+ reference checks? Yes or no? Is the learning curve steep enough to justify the risk? 1 to 10 scale. Rule: if 3+, yes, plus score greater than or equal to 7, accept. Else, decline or negotiate.
Part 2. Work Principles, Building an Idea Meritocracy. Work Principle 1. Radical Truth and Radical Transparency. At Bridgewater, almost everything is recorded. Meetings are taped, feedback is direct, criticism isn't hidden. Why? Hidden problems compound. Visible problems get solved. Radical truth. Say what you believe, but say it respectfully. Never say anything about someone that you wouldn't say to them directly. Separate the person from the behavior. This report missed key data versus you're careless. Radical transparency. Share information broadly by default. Restrict only when legally required. Make decision-making criteria visible. Document mistakes and lessons in a shared issue log. The payoff? When people aren't guessing what others think, energy goes to problem solving, not politics. Caution. Radical transparency requires psychological safety. Start small. Build trust. Scale gradually.
Work Principle 2. Culture of learning from mistakes. Dalio doesn't just tolerate mistakes, he requires them, as long as they're learned from. The mistake protocol. Fail well. Everyone fails. The question is, do you extract the lesson? Get over blame and credit. Focus on accurate versus inaccurate, not who's at fault. Write down weaknesses. Document your own and others' patterns, not to shame, to strategize. Teach mistake-based learning. Make postmortems standard practice. Celebrate lessons learned, not just wins. Bridgewater tool, the issue log. Every error, disagreement, or near miss gets logged with what happened, root cause, lesson learned, owner for follow-up. This becomes a living database of organizational intelligence.
Work Principle 3. Believability-weighted decision-making. This is Dalio's most innovative and controversial idea. Not all opinions are equal. What is believability? A person has high believability in a domain if they have successfully accomplished the thing in question at least 3 times, can clearly explain the cause-effect relationships behind their conclusions. How to implement believability weighting. Identify the domain, for example, marketing strategy, technical architecture, hiring. Map team members' believability scores in that domain, based on track record plus reasoning quality. Weight input accordingly in decisions. Still hear everyone out, but let the most believable arguments carry more weight. Why this works? Reduces noise from loud but inexperienced voices. Elevates expertise without creating hierarchy. Makes decision-making more accurate and less political. Dalio's warning. Pay more attention to people's reasoning for a conclusion than their specific conclusion. The goal isn't to obey the expert, it's to understand why they believe what they believe.
Work Principle 4. Hire right, manage like a machine. Dalio's hiring philosophy. The penalties for hiring wrong are huge. Hire for values and abilities first, skills second. The hiring filter. Values, non-negotiable. Integrity, curiosity, accountability. Abilities, cognitive, critical thinking, learning agility, emotional intelligence. Skills, teachable. Software proficiency, industry knowledge, technical tools. Manage as a machine designer. See your team as a machine producing outcomes. Your job? Design the machine. Roles, processes, incentives, and maintain it. Feedback, training, adjustments. Separate your designer self, strategic, from your doer self, tactical. Key management practices. Probe deep. Don't accept surface answers. Ask why until you hit root causes. Evaluate accurately, not kindly. Kindness that avoids truth harms growth. Train through experiences. Every project is a case study. Debrief relentlessly. Don't lower the bar. It's kinder to move someone to a better fit role than to keep them struggling.
Work Principle 5. Diagnose problems to root causes. Most organizations treat symptoms. Dalio insists diagnose to the root, or the problem will recur. The diagnosis drill down. Is the outcome good or bad? Who is the responsible party? RP. If bad, is the RP incapable or is the design bad? If incapable, is it a values issue, ability issue, or skill issue? If design is bad, what assumption failed? What feedback loop is missing? The 5 whys in action. Problem. Client churn increased 20% this quarter. Why? Onboarding experience was poor. Why? New clients didn't understand key features. Why? Training materials were outdated. Why? No owner was assigned to update them. Why? We don't have a process for content maintenance. Root cause? Missing system for owning and updating client resources. Avoid the frog in boiling water syndrome. The most common reason problems aren't perceived is gradual normalization of decline. Dan Silvestra. Set up early warning metrics. Review them weekly.
Work Principle 6. Design systems, not just tasks. Dalio's meta principle. Build the organization around goals rather than tasks. System design checklist. Get goals first. What outcome are we optimizing for? Roles second. Who owns which part of the machine? Processes third. What workflows connect the roles? Metrics fourth. How will we know it's working? Feedback loops fifth. How do we learn and adjust? Avoid job slip. Watch out for job slip when responsibilities drift without explicit realignment. Quarterly role reviews prevent ambiguity. The double do rule. For mission-critical tasks, don't just double-check. Have 2 people independently do the task, then compare results. Catches errors early. The Bridgewater Toolkit. Dot collector, issue log, baseball cards. Dalio didn't just preach principles. He built tools to enforce them. The dot collector, real-time feedback. During meetings, participants rate each other's contributions on dimensions like logical, open-minded, productive. Creates immediate, transparent feedback. Data aggregates to identify patterns. Who dominates? Who disengages? Who elevates the discussion? The issue log, organizational learning. Every mistake, disagreement, or near miss gets logged with what happened, root cause analysis, lesson learned, owner for follow-up. Becomes a searchable database of institutional wisdom. Baseball cards, people analytics. Each employee has a profile showing strengths, weaknesses by domain, believability scores, preferred communication style, career aspirations. Used for role alignment, project staffing, development planning, not punishment. Key insight. Culture isn't what you say, it's what you measure. How to apply this tomorrow. Your 7-day Principle Builder Challenge. You don't need to run a hedge fund to use this. Here's your starter system. Day 1. Start your Principle Journal. Create a simple doc or notebook. Structure each entry. Situation, my action, result, what I do differently. Draft principle. Day 2.
Run the 5-step process on one problem. Pick one recurring frustration. Diagnose the root cause. Use 5 whys. Design one principle to address it. Test it for 24 hours. Day 3. Practice thoughtful disagreement. In one conversation, ask, what's the strongest argument against my view? Listen, summarize, then respond. Day 4. Map your cognitive style. Rate yourself. Big picture versus detail, fast versus deliberate. Identify one collaborator with opposite wiring. Adjust your communication style for them. Day 5. Create one decision algorithm. Pick a recurring decision. For example, should I say yes to this request? Write clear, testable criteria. Use it for 1 week. Refine. Day 6. Implement one transparency practice. Share one piece of feedback directly you'd normally withhold, or document one mistake plus lesson in a shared space. Day 7. Review and systematize. Review your principle journal. Identify your top 3 emerging principles. Schedule a monthly principles review in your calendar. Remember, progress compounds when you systematize learning.
Common mistakes people make when applying principles. Mistake 1. Treating principles as rigid commandments. Principles are hypotheses. Test them, iterate them, evolve them. Mistake 2. Skipping the reflection step. Pain without reflection equals repeated pain. Always extract the lesson. Mistake 3. Using principles to judge others. Principles are for your decision-making. Share them to align, not to control. Mistake 4. Over-engineering early. Start with 3 to 5 core principles. Add complexity only when needed. Mistake 5. Ignoring emotional intelligence. Radical truth requires radical empathy. Deliver hard truths with care.
Let's zoom out. What's the big picture? Ray Dalio's entire philosophy rests on one belief. Life, work, markets, relationships, they're all machines governed by cause and effect. If you can understand the rules, you can design better outcomes. His operating system has 3 layers. First, mindset. Embrace reality. Seek truth over being right. View pain as data. Second, process. Use the 5-step process for goals. Make decisions as expected value calculations. Diagnose to root causes. Third, system. Write down your principles. Test them. Iterate them. Scale what works. The result isn't perfection. It's progress. Compounding, exponential progress. Dalio's closing challenge: you can be successful without principles, but you'll be at the mercy of your emotions and circumstances. With principles, you become the designer of your life.
If this video added value, please subscribe for more deep dive frameworks. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Comment below. What's one principle you're committing to test this week? I read every comment.